week one of the fantasy baseball season. And here's a few pitchers I look to sell and trade this week. I know obviously it's very early. It's week one to make deals. But some of these guys, I don't know if they're going to hold up to what they've been off to for the first starts of the season. First pitcher, Mackenzie Gore of the Washington Nationals, former top prospect in the Padres system. He was a big part of that Juan Soto deal a few years ago. And Gore, so far this year, in the one outing he had versus a great Philly offense, 6 innings, 13 strikeouts, no runs given up, and a quality start, and 1 hit in that ball game. So Mackenzie Gore, we've seen some decent outings from him throughout his career. Last season, middle of the pack season, 166 in the third, 10-12 record, 181 Ks, a 3.90 ERA, a 1.42 WHIP, and 11 quality starts. But a few things with Gore. He's in a very tough division in the NL East with the Atlanta Braves. I know they were off to a slow start. Philadelphia Phillies, New York Mets, 3 teams that really could hit the baseball. And also as well, last season for the most part, he was a 5-inning pitcher at times, was Mackenzie Gore, where, like I said, he only had 11 quality starts where he did pitch a full season. So with those factors, and obviously coming off a 13 strikeout game, that's not going to happen more times than not. I think Mackenzie Gore, after going out there with a great outing, he's definitely a pitcher I will look to sell this week, even though he is the Washington National A season so far. Next pitcher, Nick Pivetta, San Diego Padres. Nick Pivetta, he got off to a good start as well with a great victory on Sunday Night Baseball versus the Atlanta Braves. And Pivetta, he was a late signing at the beginning of spring training. 7 innings he went in that game versus the Braves, got the win. 4 strikeouts, no runs given up, and the quality start, obviously. So Pivetta, we know he's an innings eater. But last season, he was a middle-of-the-pack type of pitcher. 145 and 2/3, 6-12 record, 172 Ks, a 4.14 ERA for Pivetta, 1.13 WHIP, and 11 quality starts. So Pivetta, he could go the 5-6 innings, no doubt about it. I think this Padre team, they're going to have a good season. They got, obviously, good offense with Fernando Tatis, Manny Machado, even though he's banged up, Jackson Morrell as some of their top hitters in that offense. Xander Bogaerts, we'll see if he can have a bounce-back season after a down year last year. But I believe Nick Pivetta could be a decent innings eater, but nothing like what we saw in the first start, where he's going to go out there and go a lot of 7-inning games and not give up runs. So coming off a good start. And then, like I said, I know the Braves are 0-4 in the season, but I believe the Braves are going to turn it around. And Nick Pivetta, after one good start, he's definitely a player I look to put on the trade block and see what you get. Like I said, I know it's early in the season, but you never know if, you took one of these guys late in your draft and someone got off to a bad start the first few games of the season, and you want to flip them off of one good outing and see what you can get in the deal. Next pitcher, Spencer Arrighetti of the Houston Nationals. Arrighetti, he's still actually available on the waiver wire as well in 38% of fantasy leagues. Arrighetti last season was a mixed bag of results. He had some good games and some games where he was batting practice. But one thing I think with Arrighetti that's going to be good this season is definitely the K rate. But also this Houston National team, they did lose great players. Kyle Tucker, they traded away to the Cubs. And also Alex Bregman leaving in free agency with going to the Boston Red Sox. Arrighetti to start the year, nice outing versus the New York Mets, 6 innings, got the win, 5 Ks, a run, a hit, and a quality start. So Arrighetti, he's got good stuff. He attacks the strike zone. But like I said, he's on a team that's gotten worse offensively. The run support's not going to be there. And also as well now, entering his second season, even though last year he pretty much pitched a full season for the Houston Nationals. We'll see if that wear and tear catches up to Arrighetti, where last season 145 innings, 7-13 record, 171 Ks, a 4.53 ERA, 0.41 WHIP, and 10 quality starts. He didn't go that deep into games last season. Like I said, at times he was batting practice, one good game, one bad game. It was for Arrighetti. So far off to a good start for this Houston National team. Arrighetti, like I said, I think he's going to be decent this year, but he's definitely a pitcher I would put on the trade block and see what you could get for him, because you just never know. I know it's early in the season and deals aren't always made, but sometimes fantasy owners overreact, and there's some fantasy owners as well that just want to go out there and make trades and like making changes to their team no matter what. The next pitcher, Luis Severino of the Athletics. Severino, he pitches versus the Chicago Cubs here tonight. Severino, big free agent signing, got the biggest contract in A's history as a free agent coming from another team. And last year, New York Mets, their pitching lab changed him around, and he really 8 innings and went out there and put up numbers with Severino. 182 innings last season, 11-7 record, 161 Ks, 3.91 ERA, 1.24 WHIP, and 14 quality starts. And to start the season, he had a good ball game at the Mariners, where obviously they're not a good offensive team in Seattle, one of the worst teams in the league last season offensively. And so far this year, we haven't seen much out of them. He went 6 innings, 6 Ks in that one, no runs, 2 hits, and a quality start. To Severino, he's a pitcher, but like I said, if he's healthy, we know he could eat innings. He went out there last season, pitched well. And this division isn't that great. I know Texas Rangers, they can hit the baseball. We know Houston, they got some offense, even though they traded away Tucker and lost Bregman in free agency. But Luis Severino, he's definitely someone to put on the trade block. I don't know if he's going to do what he did last season, pitch a full season, where a lot of injuries he had throughout his Yankee tenure, and he was tipping pitches as well a couple years ago where the Mets fixed him. And we'll see if he can carry what he learned with the New York Mets in the one season with this athletic team. But like I said, division, middle of the pack type of division. Severino's track record for the most part hasn't been great, and it wouldn't be surprising to me if he's on the IL a couple times this year. So right now, after one good start, I would trade Severino. But like I said, you could wait and see what he does tonight. And if he goes out there versus a pretty good Cub offense, and then Severino's value definitely goes up even more. So right now, he's someone I would put on the trade block and see what I could get in the final pitcher. I look to sell and trades Jacob deGrom of the Texas Rangers. Jacob deGrom, he was healthy in his first start. Good to see Jacob deGrom, very injury prone over the last 3-4 seasons, going back to his Met days, then signed with the Rangers. Only got a couple starts under his belt, needed Tommy John. Last year only pitched 10 2/3. And now so far this season, they're going to limit his innings a little bit. 5-6 innings the most it's going to be for deGrom. And I know deGrom, he's an elite pitcher when he pitches, but the key word obviously is when he pitches. So in his debut outing versus the Red Sox, March 30th, 5 innings in that one, no runs, no decision, 6 Ks, a hit in that ball game. But like I said, deGrom, very injury prone. Manager Bruce Bochy even said in spring training that they're going to limit deGrom to save him for later on in the season. So that just doesn't sound great to me. You want maximum results, even though I know he's coming off of Tommy John, was deGrom. And last season, like I said, he only pitched 10 2/3 on the year. And deGrom, when he pitches, he's a great starter, but availability has been a problem for him the last 3 or 4 seasons. So right now that he went out there in a good outing, even though it was only 5 innings versus the Red Sox, looked like his old self, attacking the zone, throwing hard, and not giving up runs and barely hits, is Jacob deGrom. He's definitely someone I would go out there and sell this week, because I just don't know how long he's going to hold up for, is deGrom. Obviously, he's up there in age now in the latter part of his career, even though he still could go out there and pitch well, but I just don't trust it with the track record. So that's a few pitchers I look to sell and trade for week 1 of the fantasy baseball season.